It took 4 days and 130 gigabytes of video capture, but here it is, the full run-through of the Stover Farm on Judith Plains, Montana. Hello and welcome to the Stover Farm channel. I'm so glad to have you here with me. And the time has come to actually play this map. We're in Judith Plains, Montana. It's a custom farm we built together. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down in the description. We also walked through the entire equipment setup. I've got a video on that as well. So what do we do now? Well, we actually play it. And this is what I've come up with to actually fulfill that promise and do it. I'm going to put it all in one video. That's right, you are watching right now the entire playthrough of this map. I'm going to do it for 1 year. I'm playing 2x speed, but I'm only going to do 1 day months. That means we can do everything we want on the fields with the animals each month. When I go to bed, I wake up. It'll be the next month. We can progress. We can check the bank account. We can watch things. We can see how this farm actually progresses. And speaking of the farm, let's take a look at it. We are over in a very isolated corner of Judith Plains, Montana, on a custom farm build that I think is really, really picturesque. Quite beautiful. Might not necessarily be realistic for an in real life farm. I don't think what I'm going to do would actually sustain the amount of equipment that I've got or the size of the farm, because it's really just 2 fields. So this field, which we're going to multi-plant, so likely corn and wheat. You can see I do have some tile already out, ready to go, some markers set up for where we're going to put down seed. And then a small plot, maybe 1.5 acres over here for Meg, where we're going to put some sunflowers. We do have room for animals, so beef cattle down here by the river. And then up on the hill, we've got dairy cattle in the barn. And then we've got a little area for some calves down under the bank barn on the hill. Very, very nice area. Being April, though, it's a beautiful day. We need to plant. Now, I'm not going to come up with like crazy scenarios for this. I'm just going to talk, play through it, maybe comment on like what I'm doing, buttons that I'm pushing, equipment that I've got, hopefully things that might interest you if you're new to Farm Sim or, an avid player of Farm Sim. Just a nice leisurely run through a full year on this farm. I've got the seed add-on, so you can take a look right here. This is Pioneer seed corn, corn seed, excuse me. So really nice if you want to start doing some realistic role play. There's a lot of great mods out there right now to do that. I've got realistic weather turned on. I have realistic animals turned on. So that's going to play into the success or failure of this farm. The 8345R is warming up. Now, this is my planting tractor, really kind of my everything type of tractor. I do have a 55 series over there that is used, and then the 4-wheel drive articulated Massey that I use for really heavy field work. This is absolute overkill for this farm. It would be a terrible financial decision to have this type of tractor. Really, it would be a terrible financial decision in general to have all the equipment that is here for a farm of this size in real life. But I don't care. I love it. This is going to pull my planter, which we need to go and get out of the barn. All right, so it's saying hit A. I could hit A on the controller. I'm running a Xbox Series S controller, but I also have a keyboard. I'm going to hit Q on the keyboard. That's going to attach the planter. I'm actually excited for the manual connect mod. It's a mod that was out for 22. I think it's a really, you would think it would get really annoying because you've actually got to get out of the equipment, come back, connect, and then get back in. But it slows you down a little bit, makes you really think about all your movements. maybe that will come out. So nice and slow. Let's get out of this barn without running over anything. So my problem right now is I can't get the planter out of the barn. I don't know how I got the planter in the barn, but apparently it's too wide for this barn. So right now I'm like ripping that guide off on the right side. Let's see if I can spin it around. No. This is ridiculous. Come on, there we go. Okay, I got it out. The 2117 CCS planter. This is, again, probably way overkill for this farm. That 7000 series would more than likely do the trick for what we've got here. But hey, I've got it, so we're going to use it. Let's not take out the water tower, and we'll bring it over. 8345 should be fully warmed up by now. Let's bring those back up, and let's go out and let's start putting some seeds in the ground. Out here on the field, and what I've got are some marker flags. You can see those here. They're just they're a mod that's available. You can put them down in the build menu, and then I've got some tile inlets that I've put down, and we're just going to split this field up into two pieces. I'll go into the map editor, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So we're just going to split a line right here, where that tile is. And then everything over here, that's going to be corn. Everything over here, that's going to be wheat. And then again, down here, that's going to be soybeans. We could get really fancy with it, and we could do different like passes with different types of agriculture. That would be really pretty. Like if you went corn, wheat, corn, wheat, corn, wheat. There's some precedent for that right now of planting multiple crops together. It just doesn't play out very well in the game. Up in the left-hand corner, I'm looking for the HUD. I'm going to show what type of seed I'm going in the ground. In this particular case, the seeder is there. I'm looking, everything's good there. In the lower right-hand corner, we've got corn that's going to go in. If I wanted to change that, I could hit Y, and we could change the different seed that's going to go in the ground. B is going to turn the seeder on. V is going to drop it down. And we're just going to slowly start making our way around this field as nicely as possible. And while I'm making these passes on the end rows, which you traditionally I don't think you would do first, but I am because, well, it's a game. And I want to make sure that I get my border set for this particular field. Let's talk about style of play. When I have a massive amount of acreage to work with, I tend to turn on like unrealistic speed limits. I use a lot of the mods and just go at it. Super fast, unrealistic. Playing like this, I almost feel like it's more enjoyable keeping some of the speed limits in place. So being a more realistic planning speed, 7 miles an hour with this. We're not trying to, plant 500, 600, 700 acres. Which that is relatively small for in real life. This is 20 acres, but it's still going to take a decent amount of time at this speed in the game. A little over halfway done putting corn in the ground. And I'm realizing that I didn't need 1,000 liters of corn. I've only gone through a fraction of that pallet. I've got 880 some liters left, so like 30% of that has been used. So, you know, be cognizant of that when you're buying products, because you can save yourself a lot of money. All right, back at the yard, corn's in the ground. We got 858 liters left. I'm going to take a look in the upper left-hand corner. I can unload, so I'm going to hit my I button. That's going to unload all the seed that was in this planter, and it's going to put it in a nice little big bag for me right here. I will maybe use this for the sunflowers, but I will buy seed for the wheat. Now, crazy day, it's still early. Let's put some wheat in the ground. All right, the drill is out. Let's grab the seeder or the planter. I always get those mixed up. I'm sure all of the real farmers out there, it's cringe-worthy. I do apologize. There's a lot of dirt on this for just that small amount of work that it put in. I don't think I'd make it through there. Let's back up. I'm just going to move this out of the way. I don't like my yard being cluttered. And something to note here, since this is a no-till drill, if you go over any of your planted corn, it is going to put wheat down. Because you can see right there, it's no-till. So it's, in theory, the game is saying, all right, it cultivates instantly, and then is putting the wheat down over and basically deleting everything I've done there with the corn, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not worried about perfection. The very last thing that I'm going to do is plant some sunflowers. I've got the 7000. It's the 6-row planter on the back of the 50 series John Deere. I've only got 50 liters of seed in because this is a very, very small plot of land. And this is one of the modifications that I made to this map. Originally, this field it basically just stopped. It was a cliff right down to the river. We did a little terraforming, and I've got a nice gradual ramp down to what is likely only an acre and a half field. Almost done with day one, month one. We've got crops in the ground. Only real major issue that I did run into was the application rate, or the seed rate, and the wheat was significantly higher than the corn, so I did have to buy some more seed. Before I go to bed and wake up for tomorrow, which will be the next month, May, I'm going to go ahead and ring the animal dealer. I'm going to pay for a delivery fee. I want to get some animals, some chickens, because they can get you fairly decent amounts of money kind of quickly. So let's just see what is available. I'm going to just buy all of these. You can see the new animal system, realistic animals in place, which is very, very cool. You're limited on the amount of animals that are actually at the dealer. So, like, I'm, you know, getting what I can. Those are chickens, and then I'm going to get a couple of roosters just to have, you know, a little bit of increased productivity. That's going to be a total of, what did I do? I selected all of those. I'm going to buy selected $320. I got 19 animals. Had a slight delivery fee, nothing major. I think that's worth it because I don't want to have to jump in a truck and run to town. It would just take up a ton of time. So what I've done, I've gone and I've purchased a conveyor, the very cheapest conveyor that I could find. It was $2,000, an auger. I think maybe I have to use this. For some bins, you're able to just take a bucket right up to them, and they will, you know, they will fill right into a bucket. But maybe this isn't the case. So, inevitably in farm sim, this is what you do. You think you have a plan, and then, well, it all goes awry. So let's see. Can I turn this on? Start filling. So yes, I can say start. All right, so that worked. Now, this is ridiculous, but we're going to grab this truck. I'm just trying to get the 1,600 liters of wheat in here and over to the chickens. This will work. I think this will work. Yep, we'll get this in here. Minor inconvenience. Back this up, and I think this will be the perfect amount for the chickens. And with that, day one, month one done, I'll see you tomorrow. And good morning. It's now May, and the bank account has gone down because with the start of a new month, all of your bills are due. It wasn't terrible. We did get some rain overnight, which is actually kind of nice. And look, we've got crops that are popping up. Corn is here. Let's see what the HUD says. Moisture is not great. We're low. It should be 5 times what it is right now. So we've got a potential for some reduced crop growth as we continue on. Let's run over very quickly and see the wheat. Here's the wheat, similar with moisture, because again, they're the same fields. Maybe the tile's not helping. I don't know. And down here, sunflowers, they're popping up as well, which is good to see. Their moisture is, again, not great. But current yield, you know, we're still over 100% potential with yield. Animal-wise, the chickens, the 19 chickens, they have not produced anything just yet. Their health seems to be okay, 62 to 100%, but their reproductive rate is at 0. They'll have offspring in 2 months, but we do not have any eggs, which is disappointing. That's okay, though. We'll just let them go. So today, I've got to make the journey all the way into town. We've got to take Highway 87 north and pick up some animals. Really, as many as I can fit in this trailer. This is a really, really long drive. That is one of the downsides to building your farm way outside of town, is you've got a decent trip if you want to go in and pick up anything from the store or the animals. Now, I am cheating a little bit, or a lot. I do have the store deliveries turned on, and you could, in theory, use the delivery for animals as well, but let's actually make this trip in all the way back into town and see what the dealer has. Let's not tell the sheriff, but I was running pretty good on the highway there, 80, 90 miles an hour. And I got a little turned around, had to run through town. Couldn't find the entryway to the dealer, but we are here, and let's see what is available. All right, as far as cows go, heifers and bulls and you name it, let's see what we've got. How many can I hold? I can hold 27 in this trailer, and I want to get my biggest bang for the buck. I've only got $18,000. So as far as dairy, I want to get, let's see here. We'll grab a couple of these Holsteins. There's 1,000, boom, boom, boom. And that's a really good bull there, but I don't think he's old enough to actually have offspring yet. Let's go and grab some of these Herefords just because I need them. And we'll grab these as well to put in the dairy barn. Did I get all of them? I've got 6 in the trailer. That's not right. I selected. Yes. Okay. Animals in the trailer. I think that's really all that I can do right now. Hello, ma'am. How are you? That's leaving me with $4,000 left. And I'm going to have to feed these guys with some of the leftover silage that is in the harvestor. I think it will work, but I can get my butt going. And I might need to buy some... Probably am going to need to buy some straw. I just realized that. What are you doing? Don't honk at me. Now is an exercise in getting these animals in their husbandries. The dairy cattle is not going to be difficult. I think the Angus might be a little tough because I've got to drive down that hill with this truck. I have no other way to get them down there. All right, let's see if the triggers all work. We're going to hit R, and we're going to bring this brown Swiss, these Holsteins. We're going to keep the Angus and take them down to the open pasture. This, and this are all going to move to the husbandry. 14 animals moved to the husbandry. Very, very nice. That seems to have worked. They are in there. Don't know if all those animals would be happy or not together, but I need them for money. This is a fairly large drop-off, but I think the old Cummins is going to handle it just fine. It is mud as well. All right, let's come to this view and see if I can make it down this hill. Yeah, so far so good. squeeze my fat butt through here. Come on, come on! Ugh, I need to go on a diet. And 4 animals that are going to go down here. Kind of sad, but that's really all I had money for. Where are they? Okay, yeah, I guess there's only 4. Hey, little buddy. There's only 4 in this. Oh, my. Hi, guys. How are you? That's a minor problem. We'll just let them settle in, and it should be fine. Everything should be fine once they get a couple of nights in them. It's showing 4 in the field, which is all that matters. I call that a fairly successful trip. We got to the animal dealer in town. It was a long drive. Animals are in their husbandries. A couple of them are floating. We do have some silage in this harvestor. We're going to need... That's what we planted the corn for, would go in here. Let's see how much we have. So I've got 16,000 liters of silage, which should be enough to keep these animals alive for, honestly, more than a couple of months. I think it will be okay. What I'm more concerned about is I don't have any hay or straw. So we need to cut some grass and make some hay, and then I'm likely going to need to buy straw. So the straw is for the bedding, and the hay will ultimately be for the cattle out in the pasture. Now, fortunately, they do have pasture grass, so I'm not too worried. I still will probably take down some of this silage to them just to top them off and make sure they're okay. Hit my L button. I'm going to go ahead and just fill this up, get as much of it mixed in here as I can. It's older silage, but it still should be just fine. That's 12,000 liters, which is going to leave me about 4,000 liters in the harvestor. All right, we're going to start dumping silage in here. And I'm going to watch the meter on the back because I want to leave maybe 3,000 liters to take down to the Angus. Can I stop that fairly quickly? Yes, I can. I'm going to go ahead and stop at about 4,500. So we now have 7,400 liters of food. No straw. Again, we've got to get straw for these guys to get their health up, get their reproductive rate up, and get them producing milk, the ones that can produce milk. We'll head back down the hill. I'm going to dump this remaining 4,500 liters of silage into the Angus feeding troughs down here. I love this realistic animal system with the amount of work that the modder put into it. If you have the opportunity to download it, please do. It is awesome. I see the genetics on a couple of these animals are not great, so I did not get a very good bang for the buck, I don't think. a little guy or gal, guy is doing, it could be my best. Great metabolism, great health, very high quality. It does show that some of the male cattle can have milk. That's not the case. Only the female cattle, cows produce milk. And I hate to have to do this, but I'm gonna order some straw because I am worried that if I go to bed and wake up, their health might be significantly impacted by not having proper bedding. So let's see what type of bang for the buck I can get here. That's going to be 9,000. Let me buy one of those. And let me buy... I don't know if I have to give the animals down in the pasture some, but I'm just going to buy that as well. It's really not making me happy on my bank account right now, but I mean, it is what it is. The only thing that could go wrong here is that this husbandry doesn't accept full-size bales, that it requires you to chop these bales up into straw. Do I have a chopper? I don't know if I do or not. If I don't, might have to lease something. I'm really uncomfortable with the amount of money that's left in my bank account right now. So we're going to go in, we're going to see, yeah, this tractor fits. But does this accept... Ooh, yes it does. Okay, that's good news. Back down the hill. This has four-wheel drive, and it is fine. I'm going to have no worries about getting stuck down here with this case. When in doubt, turn on your super strength and find the location. There we go. I had to put it on top of that. So that makes me really happy. It's May. I've now got animals, we've got food, we've got bedding, we've got them really in good shape. I'm comfortable going to bed tonight, waking up in June, and seeing where we're at with health, reproductive data, as well as the growth of the crops out in the field. Welcome to June. Man, these months just fly by, don't they? How are we doing on our crops out in the field? We've got another round of growth. Moisture's still really, really bad. Not great. Let's check the wheat. We've got a lot of weeds growing here. We're going to need to get in and do either some chemical herbicide on here or some mechanical weed prevention, probably for both the corn and the wheat. Let's run down. Let's check out Meg's sunflowers, see how they're doing. Sunflowers are fine and surprisingly don't have any weeds growing. I don't know why that's the case. I might just let them go on their own. We'll see what their yield is without putting any product on them. As far as the animals go, I have no milk, which is really depressing. I don't know why that's the case. I've got animals that should produce milk. I don't know why I don't have any milk. We've got slurry, we've got manure. They're going through the food fairly quickly, which is good, but no milk. That's not good. We run down here. We'll check these guys out. And their health is great. I lost an animal, though, it looks like. Unfortunately, look at that. I've only got 3 animals down here. That's very, very sad. I don't like seeing that, but that's part of the new animal system, so woof. And we'll run over, we'll check the chickens. I'd love to have some eggs from the chickens, because look at my bank account. It's $441, and we do have some eggs. We don't have a ton of eggs. This could, things are really, really tight right now in June. What I'm thinking needs to happen right now because of that low bank account is I need to make some hay. And originally was going to use this for the cattle out in the pasture, but maybe I'll keep one bale. We'll see how many bales I can get off of this pasture grass, and then just go take them into town and sell them. I'll start a row right here. We'll turn on the 1590 baler, and we'll drop it down, and we'll just see how much we can get off of this field. I will need to come in and ted it, and then rake it, and then bale it. So this is a fairly, I mean, it's an involved process, but it might get us some money. And fortunately, this is a situation where money does grow. It grows out of the ground, not on trees, but out of the ground. Got the baler hooked up. I need to choose my size, and you know, traditionally I would probably keep these very small because I'd be feeding them to the animals, but I might up the size just a little bit to the 150 because I'm going to keep one of them, I believe, and I am going to sell the rest. And really, I want to be able to transport as much as humanly possible on the trailer. I could have used the round baler for this and cheated a little bit, but I think or the square baler, excuse me, but I think round baling is probably the right way to go to do this as realistically as possible. And it looks like we're only going to get 4 usable bales out of this particular pasture. I hate that you can't like make a super small bale out of the remaining grass right there. I guess I can go pick it up just to get it off of the ground and then clear, but it's wasted. And I always hate that, but I don't want to leave that on the grass. I'll just pick it up, what the heck, but that's only another 1,000 liters of hay, and that really not going to get us anywhere close to a full-size bale. So let's turn the baler off, fold it up, and now we just got to collect them, take them into town, and sell them. 4 bales total on the little tilt deck trailer. I think this will do just fine getting us into town. Might be a little overweight, but I didn't feel like taking the grain head off of the gooseneck and pulling it out. Now, we take the drive back into town to the animal dealer. And for the big reveal, we'll see what we get out of this. I don't know if I can back over it and it will accept it, or if I need to get out, and I probably need to get out, unhook them. Oh, there we go. Okay, so $2,500, $2,500, and I sold all 4 of them. I had a bit of a change of heart when I started to do the math, and I figured I'm not going to keep one. I'm going to sell them all. Now, $3 grand in the bank account makes me feel a ton better than $421. And while I'm in town, again, I got to think ahead on, you know, planning, because this is a decent drive to go from the farm to town. I want to run over to the Tractor Supply, and I want to pick up some seeds. I want to get some seeds to plant Meg's garden. I also want to plant the apple trees. I forgot we had the apple trees, because we now have manure that's starting to fill up at the farm. And that is what is absolutely needed to get those produce growing. So 1 pallet of seeds, about $1,000. That should give us enough for the garden and for the apple trees. And the long drive back to the farm, it has started raining, and that is absolutely wonderful because the fields needed rain. Remember, my moisture percentage was very, very low. Now, it's in the afternoon. I would love to just call it a day, but I want to get this garden started. And full transparency, I had to take multiple takes on this. The first couple of tries, I could not get the greenhouse that I had, the garden, the open garden mod, to take any seeds. So I had to do a few little, modifications. I found another open garden mod. Now this one only requires water, so it's cheating a little bit, but we still have the seeds that are here. We're just going to pretend that since I bought them, that we're going to use them. So let's grab them off of the flatbed. We'll bring them over and we'll just, we'll set them very nicely right over here by the LP tank, and we'll just pretend that boom, that is the required seeds for this garden. Fortunately, though, because it only needs water, well, it's raining. That's not helping, but I do have an entire trailer full of water here in the 4110 compact tractor. We've got over 2,000 liters, so let's take this over and let's dump out some water and let's get this garden going. And we're dumping the water now into the garden, which should allow us now to jump out, hop into the production mode, and take a look and see we've got water. And after a little bit of research, I'm going to just activate tomatoes because I think I can get a little over $1,000 per 1,000 liters of tomatoes. So there they are. They're growing already. This is awesome. A couple of loads of water, and I think we can call it good for right now. We'll pull this back in the barn. We'll go ahead and hit the sleep trigger, and we'll wake up in July. A new day, a new month. Welcome to July, and I'm starting off in the build mode because I think it's going to be easier to show you all this. We've got things happening. Things are happening in the fields, not good things either. The realistic weather mod is killing some of my crops. I don't know if that is death from lack of moisture or just my bad luck. Not as bad over in the wheat, but it's still there. And sunflowers, they're doing awesome, although I clearly missed a spot right there planting. Now, for the animals, the Angus, the beef, they're fine. They're not using a ton of food. They're not going through a lot of supplies. I think these guys are still floating. Yeah, one of them is. really don't know what that is. It's got to be some error with the mod or where I placed it, something along those lines. This is clearly some type of error. I have no milk, still no milk from the dairy cattle. Very, very disappointing. I don't know what I've done wrong there. They're clearly going through product. They're eating, they're creating manure, they're creating slurry, but I've got no milk. This is spectacular. We've got 3 pallets of tomatoes. Very, very happy about that because, look, my bank account back down to $500. Very, very scared. Do not like that at all. And I don't know what the hell is up with these chickens. They've produced, like, the bare minimum of eggs. They still have food. They're fine. I think this, this is the realistic animals mod that is, rearing its ugly head. And I say ugly head, it's realistic head, because it is keeping you humble, keeping you very humble. Hey, $500. It's July. I think I'm going to probably focus on these fields. We've got to get some type of fertilizer, something in this field while I still can, to get rid of the weeds that are over in the wheat. And the moisture's better. We've had a lot of rain. Get some fertilizer, I think, on the corn. So let's do it. I hope I haven't waited too long. And I'm in a row crop tractor. So one of the things that you can have happen is if you don't have proper row crop tires, you will destroy your corn. We do not want that to happen. If that were to happen, I'm just going to be very careful and not drive like a maniac. So let's go in and let's see if I destroy anything. No, I think I'm still in good shape. Yes, okay, so we're good. Let's come in and start the application. Probably need to raise this a little bit. Can I bring this up at all? We would be like completely clipping the top of this corn. And it might be, I might not be able to do anything. I might just have to go with it. I'm running along the end rows right now. I'm down to about 500 liters of product. I might not get all of this corn sprayed. So I've underestimated my amount of fertilizer needed, and I've overestimated the amount of seeds that I needed. It's typical. But hey, it's my first time doing a full playthrough of a map like this. So, give me a little credit. I'm trying. We're going to get through it, though. Well, that's it. The tank is empty. I only had enough to pull off fertilizing the corn, which I think that'll be okay. The more important product that I put down is going to be herbicide over on this wheat. These are huge weeds that are growing on the wheat, and it's going to significantly reduce my yield. Pulling the herbicide out of the barn. We need to get the sprayer flushed out. Really no way to do that. We'll just pretend. A little bing bang boom with a magic wand, and the sprayer is clean. And then we can fill it up with liquid herbicide. So 2,000 liters in the IBC tote. A little over 1,000 goes in the sprayer. This is, I think, going to be far more beneficial to our wheat than that fertilizer was for the corn. And I don't care what you say, this 8000 series tractor, gorgeous, beautiful. They just don't make them like this anymore. Yeah, I'm looking at you cows. We have got to do something about your situation. I've bought apparently some defective cows. I've got to make some changes. but I don't think I can continue feeding these guys if they're not going to produce. $564 in my bank account. I could start selling stuff. I don't want to do that just yet. I could look at contracts. When I say selling, like I could start running around, grabbing all of my extra stuff. I've got a lime bag here. I've got some fertilizer, some herbicides, some seeds. I could start selling that. Don't quite want to go there yet. Instead, I think we just fix the main problem. I'm going to come in. I'm going to get rid of the Swiss. I'm going to take a huge loss on this. This is going to be terrible. But I'm going to get rid of the here, and here. And I'm just going to keep those 3 Holsteins. I'm going to get rid of that bull as well. And I'm going to sell. No, I want to sell all. Sell selected, yes. $5,000. So I sold those 6 animals. They're gone. Now I've just got 3 Holsteins in here that should produce milk. I don't know why they haven't. What this is going to do is give me a little bit of money. I've cut my losses. I no longer now need to cut as much silage from corn. I can potentially sell some kernel corn now at the end of the year and potentially make up for my losses. I mean, again, we had $25,000 when we started. We bought the cattle, and so that was a huge loss. But I think it's probably the only thing that's going to get us through. And I've been thinking about this. Maybe it's the food that I'm feeding them, because I'm only giving them silage instead of total mixed rations. Potentially that is the problem. I don't really know. I don't have any products to mix up a total mixed ration right now, so they're getting this silage. The last 4,000 liters that were in the harvest store are now going to these 3 animals. So I am out of silage. I am out of straw. I am out of hay. What is here has got to last me until I can get some things growing. And it's July. Probably not going to be able to do that until September-ish. Wish me luck. And as stressful as it may be trying to harvest and cultivate this land, keep these animals alive, it is absolutely beautiful. July evening in the hot tub, on the porch. I think we'll call it a night. Good morning, happy August. I overslept. It's 10:30 in the morning, beautiful sunny sky, and I got a notification that 25 chicks were born. That's awesome. So we have some, I don't know why I turned my flashlight on for you, but they're in there. They're kind of hiding. I don't know why this is flowers. There they are. There's one. Hello, buddy. So we've got some more chickens. They still haven't produced a ton of eggs. That's fine. Some taxes were due. Nothing terrible, though. I think I'm still happy with what's in the bank account. But look at this. 0 milk. No milk. 100% health. No milk. So what am I doing wrong? This makes 0 sense. So I'm going to keep these 3 around because they're not going to eat a ton of food. But that is very disheartening that we haven't gotten any milk from these cows. The Angus, I still only have 3. They're doing okay, so I guess what I'm doing is fattening them up. Maybe they'll be worth a little more when we get to the end of this scenario. We'll see. I don't know if I'll recoup the cost of what they initially were, but so far, no deaths, no births. Boring is good on a farm? I don't know. I'll take it. Interesting growth over in the grass pasture. I've not seen this type of flower pop up. This is, I believe, first stage growth on the base game pasture grass. It's kind of pretty. I don't mind it. I've never seen it before. And I never would have thought that being a farmer, it would actually be the tomatoes out of my wife's garden that are likely going to sustain us over everything else. But it is what it is. This is also the point in time in the game where I typically get really, really bored. Everything is kind of done. We're just waiting now for harvest season. And it's my second worst season because I hate winter in this game. I really, really do. I just despise it. I guess if you want to do some types of role play with snow removal, then yeah, you might love winter, but I get so bored in the winter. This is where you could potentially start looking at some contracts, and you don't necessarily have to, use the in-game ones. You can create your own. And by that, I'm saying, maybe the Montana DOT has a contract out for someone to go and mow the sides of the roadway all the way out to the main highway. And they might, pay $2,500 to do that. So the Ventrac, I think, is really the absolutely perfect piece of equipment to do that. Look at that beautiful corn. We're getting really close. I think we might be able to get the chopper out in September and start getting a couple of wagons full of silage corn. Or you could come into the menu and take a look at the contracts and just see what's available. So if you needed money, here's a harvesting contract for 22 acres of corn that it's going to pay 25 grand. That's really, really good. Irrigation, that's a fairly large field, almost 80 acres. Spraying, if they provide the product, that would be a lot. That'd be really, really good. For me, I'm just going to say $2,500, going to come down here, and we're going to mow the side of the road all the way out to Highway 87. I don't know if I would have paid $2,500 to have that work done, but it was a government contract. I'll take it. There is no better machine than the four-wheel drive articulated Ventrac to do that. Just easy, easy, easy money. Meg thought it might be nice to take the kids down to the river, have a fire, and, we've got the RV, so, it's close to the house. We could just come back up to the house and sleep, but might as well use what we've got. Let's see if we can get this bad boy down to the river, have a little fire, have a little camp out. It's August, and we'll wake up to a, hopefully, a successful September. I'm a little worried this might not be the best idea, but what the heck. Nice and slow. And I currently have no way to do fire, but this is the perfect ending to an August evening. Have a good night. We'll see you in September. And welcome to September. We're getting really close, folks. I wish I could say the cows are doing better, but they're not. It's very, very unfortunate. It's about 10:40 a.m., and I've already gone and done most of the chores. I'm not going to run around and show you everything. As mentioned, the cows, 0 milk, but no deaths and no births. What is super exciting, though, is this. I have started getting tomatoes on a trailer because I have decided that I'm going to take some of this corn and use it for silage, but I'm going to try and find an inexpensive corn head and wait until this is fully dried out and dead, and we will cut it for seed corn or kernel corn. I've been checking used equipment on Marketplace, and I haven't seen anything pop up yet, but I'm hoping we might find, I don't know, maybe a 6-row corn head that I can mount to this 9600, and we can actually get dry corn or drier corn here in the fall. Until then, though, I do intend to make some passes with the chopper. I would like to get the harvester not necessarily full, but we are at a point in time where we can begin chopping some of this silage corn and get it in and fermenting. And I think what I'm going to do is just go around the end rows and take that and get it and see how many trailerfuls I can get of corn. So this is a 6610 older John Deere chopper, and then I've got the Kemper head on the front. It's only 280 horsepower, so you've got to be cognizant. You cannot have just a massive chopper on the front of it. It does not have the horsepower to do it. And then we're pulling a, just a silage wagon in the back. I realized traditionally you would be chopping and someone next to you would be... Okay, I gotta do that. I'm talking and I need to focus. I need to push the right buttons. What was I saying? Traditionally would have someone driving beside you, collecting corn or silage corn in another trailer. But I'm a one-man band, so here we go. It's just me. Let's see if we are able to do this. The one big downside to being a one-man band is that you've got to figure out ways to try and not destroy your crop. But I'm not all the way back to the yard yet, and the wheat is coming up on this other side. I am full. The only thing that I can do here in this particular instance is just destroy this. I hate this. Absolutely disheartening. I should have planned a little better. But I filled it up 28,000 liters of chaff, and now I had to destroy that little small portion. This is where old red equipment will save you. Nice compact size. We've got a 56 International blower here going up the harvester. Let's check our settings. So Control I, that's going to turn it on. Going to rev up the motor. PTO's engaged. Now I can jump off, and I'm not going to bring the chopper over. I thought I would disconnect the 8910 from that gravity wagon, and we'll use this. It's got duals on it though, so this might... Oh, I didn't think about that. Let's go grab the 50 Series John Deere. I think that's going to be better off because it's significantly skinnier in the back. Now, with this trigger and this cart, you've got to be very, very careful. It is a just a fraction of an inch forward or backwards, and you miss the trigger on this. So what I like to do is just kind of slowly inch up, wait for it. There we go. I hit the gas a little too much. I got to back up just a little bit. There we go. Now I can start dumping. Ooh. The trigger on this is very, very, very small. But we now have chaff going into the harvestor, and I think it's active already. Let me just go and double check real fast. Let's check and see. I guess you don't really have to activate it. It just works on its own. So yeah, we're good there. Two full loads of chaff in that wagon, I think, should be the perfect amount for 3 dairy cattle. Do you think these tractors argue with each other, you know, in some different type of language, red and green? I don't know. I like them both. And I don't believe this needs any introduction. Welcome to October. We're cutting corn. And I will say this, I'm using the dinkiest 6-row corn head that I've ever used. Traditionally, I don't care about money. I'm in some big X9 massive foldable corn head. That's not the case here. I actually am leasing this. I'm renting it from the store. We'll pretend it's the neighbor. Base cost was $400, and the daily cost is also $400. So I'm renting it for about $800. I did not have the $23,000 to buy this 6-row corn head new from John Deere. The wheat in the field next door, it looks okay. The weeds have not come back, but it is definitely not ready. Maybe next month in November. I don't want to be harvesting wheat with snow on the ground. I will say, keeping with the tradition and the plan for this playthrough of using smaller equipment, older equipment, I'm doing more. I'm enjoying it more. This is a 6-row corn head. If I had a massive system machine to do this, it would be done in like 2 or 3 passes, and it would absolutely not be worth it. Right now, I'm a little over 30% full. And corn's going in. It's not going in fast, but it's keeping me active, and I'm doing things. So I cannot explain it, but this 9600 will not dump into that International DT466. I've never had any problems with combines before in the game. Let's see if I can... Yeah, so this gravity wagon is no problem. So let's, I guess, dump to the gravity wagon. And then maybe I can take the gravity wagon over to the truck. Last pass with the corn head. And update on the DT466, I did get it to finally accept corn. And we'll go over and see if it's still going to work. So let's turn off the combine. I'm going to raise the head. And I'm going to get the pipe out, which you can't really see from the in-cab view of this 9600. For whatever reason, I had to reset the i3D file in EasyDev, and then I had to just pull up on this little edge, this corner of the truck, and now it's accepting it. So for whatever reason, that trigger has shifted or moved. I don't know. Maybe it's this combine that is doing it. One thing that I was always taught, and I'm sure many of you were as well, is you return any item that you borrowed from someone, regardless if you're paying for it or it's being lent to you, in as good a condition as possible, better than when you received it. So we're going to get this all cleaned up. I'm probably going to go ahead and grease it for them, because it came from a neighbor, so I want to give it back to them in excellent condition and thank them. It will be about $800. Owen needed it for one day. I do not know why that took so much effort, but it did. Is it going in the bin? Yes, it is. I already dumped some on the ground accidentally, but there you go. Auger into an auger into a bin, and that is working. But this cart, I had the red auger dumping already, and I was driving up to it, and it would not. Is this now no longer working? Hold on, let's check. No, it's going in. It's still going in. Okay, this is excellent. And while we're transferring over that product, I'd like to try something, if you don't mind. I'm not going to sell it for profit if it does work, but I am thinking that my cows are not producing milk because I'm not giving them the proper food. There's nothing I can do to fix that right now, but I can go ahead and easy dev some TMR into this wagon, and we'll dump it in, if you don't mind, and we'll see what happens. So F12, I go over to my vehicle, I see fill level, I want to put total mixed rations, we're going to fill it up. There is now a full wagon of TMR in this chopper, this mixer. So let's take it over to the 3 animals that are in that barn, and let's see if a TMR, a total mixed rations, a combination of multiple products to give them the very best food possible. Let's see if that actually allows them to make milk. And if this does work, then the realistic animal mod is fantastic. Because you've got to do work to get the product. So we're dumping this over. Don't think it changes color at all. No color change. And it's just saying food. But if I go into the animal menu, I don't know. This could be just a pipe dream that this is going to work. But I thought, since we're here, if it does work, I'm not going to accept any of the milk. I won't sell any of the milk, so we don't, skew our overall totals in the end. But let's just see what happens. And we're into November. Bad news. TMR did nothing. So there's clearly something very wrong. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look around a little bit, read on the internet. The forums are great for stuff like this. The wheat is ready to cut, but it's raining. Of course it is. It's a light rain, but we wouldn't want to get out in the field right now. It would be an absolute mess. The garden has done spectacular. We're probably done with this now for the season. Tomatoes were really, really successful. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pallets of tomatoes. That is going to be a nice payday. And we've got 2 pallets, partial pallets of eggs. We have plenty of chickens now. They're just not producing a whole lot. So, like I said earlier, this is one of a few things. It's either this realistic animal mod that is needing a little adjustment, or it's absolutely perfect and it is just overly realistic and the base game stuff was giving you way too much product per month. One of my absolute favorite times is to cut wheat. Significantly easier than corn. You can actually see out of the combine cab. And this gives us an opportunity to take a look at some of the custom textures that modders put into maps. And this one is no exception. Take a look at that deformation of the wheat as the wheels go over it, plus the header cuts it. Very, very nice. Beautiful, beautiful detail. Kudos to all the modders out there that really add these extra details to their maps. Now, it's November, and we're probably well over an hour on this video. I hope you're still with me. I hope you're enjoying this. This is my first time actually getting through a full year on a map, a full playthrough. Usually, I get going, and then something shiny pops up, and I'm like, ooh, let's do that. I don't know how some of the big YouTubers do it all the time. It's impressive. You come up with the content, you stick with it, you get it out there, and you don't end up abandoning a series, because I've been known to abandon some series in the past, and I'm sorry, I hate that. I really do, but it's my mind just getting bored. December is turning into a cleanup month for the farm. Harvest went extremely well. Everything is up off the ground except for one thing, and I'll show you. I forgot Meg's sunflowers. I returned the header before bringing the combine down and cutting these. So these are going to wither, but that's okay. They're still beautiful. January, February, and March were really jam-packed. It was the first time where we saw a negative balance in the bank account, but that's okay because January is also the month where harvest prices, crop prices, were the highest. We started square baling all the corn stalks. A restaurant in town had the very best prices for our tomatoes, so Meg took them into town and sold them off. And for all of the tomatoes, we got $16,670 plus, well, I think we had 100 eggs. Wasn't great, but that put us back into the green. And in February, I was so excited that I actually rented a truck and trailer for $2,000 and started hauling corn into town. As it turns out, it also does snow in Montana, so I figured this is probably the safer way to do it than me doing trip after trip after trip with the International into town. Who knows what type of accumulation will show up, although we're only expected to get like 1 centimeter? What is that in inch? I don't even know what that is. That seems like a small amount. In total for crops, we had approximately 38,000 liters of wheat and 35,000 liters of corn. So it just took 2 trips in the big truck to take it into town. 30,000 liters at a time in each unit of the trailer. And by March, we'd finally got all of the corn stalks and chaff in the field nicely raked up. And I did abandon baling. It was just taking way too long, and it was starting to bog down my computer. So I rented, once again, a Fendt forage wagon, finding that renting is a very cost-effective option for items that you might not need all the time. I got this thing for like $4 grand. Very, very happy with that, and it made very quick work of getting all this junk off the field. Which brings us right back full circle to April. It's been 1 year on this 20-acre farm. And I've intentionally turned off the HUD because I do not want you to see what my bank account is right now. The total amount of money that we were able to capture by farming this farmstead over the course of 1 year. And I'm going to give you a hint. The animals did very little to add to this total number. Never did get the 903 swapped out of this Massey. We're still running on the old 375 horsepower worn out engine, but that's okay because it does still get the job done. This is spring tillage. So where did we end up? Well, let's take a look. We started out with $25,000 in the bank account. We had all the equipment that we needed. We had all the property that we needed. Initially, I thought it would be animals and primarily dairy cattle that was going to sustain this farm, but that quickly turned negative because I never got any milk out of the dairy cattle. They have been sold. The only clue they were ever here is the remnants of their manure, and I've still got some TMR in the stalls. Ditto the Angus beef, they're gone as well. I made a little bit of money on them, but the loss on the dairy cattle did not make up for it. This little garden is what saved us. It got us through the really hard times before harvest. In fact, it got us out of a negative bank account and earned almost $18,000 by selling tomatoes and a few eggs over to a local restaurant. 20 acres actually performed fairly well, having almost 6 figures in income from corn, wheat, corn stalks, and straw. So enough talk. We started with $25,000, and here's the stats. $89,487 in the bank at the end of the year. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was my first go at actually playing through a custom build of my own for 1 full year. I did it. I did not abandon it. I know it's a fairly long video, but I hope you maybe learned a few things, chuckled a little bit, maybe even laughed at me for some stupid things that I did. But in the end, remember, it's just a game, but have fun. Happy farming, and we'll see you here again next time on the farm with the Stovers.